G'day everyone, welcome along. This is my deep dive guide into the sniper class Las Fusil build. This will be an in-depth discussion of each gun, its perks, and perk tree for the class. In this, I will basically show you how I believe the sniper to be one of the, I guess in my opinion, one of the best classes to roll with. Certainly will help out your teammates in taking out the big heavies and the extremist targets. You can be a vital asset for any team out there, provided you have yourself set up correctly, because sniper, whilst I think is really powerful, you need to have all the perks lined up to make most use of it. So in this guide, I am going to go through this and discuss pretty much nearly all the perks and why you would take this and why you wouldn't take the other ones. And it is primarily focused on you having a Las Fusil and accepting that your job is to take out the heavies. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and please do like it and subscribe if you did enjoy the content, and please leave a comment down in the comments section below if you have any other ideas or thoughts of what you would do. And I thank you for your time to watching this, and I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so here's the loadout. We have the Ophelian Liberation Alpha rifle. This is the Las Fusil, which has the higher firepower, so I've gone with higher firepower instead of faster rate of fire or a larger magazine capacity. With the perks, I am going with extra ammo. This is going to offset not having the Las Fusil with the higher capacity. This one, it's kind of useful, I try not to drop this though in health, but I mean, if you do, at least you're getting some reward for going back there. So I think this one's worth it. I definitely think it's better than this. I don't need to charge faster when my health is low. Typically, I either need more ammo, things have gone really badly, or I need to get the heck out of there. So that ain't gonna help me really that much. And shots charging again 15% faster, still don't do that much to help me. I would rather have a little bit more beam radius increase, slightly bigger magazine capacity, also a way to reacquire ammo or acquire ammo, basically get some back. And I've got two methods for getting it back, as we'll go through soon. So this ties into that. This on its own probably wouldn't be that useful, but when I've got two methods to get back ammo, this actually helps significantly. The headshot damage, that's what we really want from this top row. If that is what makes this top row really good. Charging, I mean, if you went this whole row, it's not a bad row, but I find that this combination, because you don't really need that, and when you go up or down in a row, you kind of will drop back from being able to get the maximum because you're spending one to go up. That's kind of obvious. But I always then, if I'm going to make that decision, I have a look. What am I missing out? Well, these two don't really matter too much if I don't have them. I mean, yeah, it's not very often when I'm charging a shot that I'm going to get knocked back from a heavy hit. It has happened a couple times, especially when you're dealing with extremists, but it's not very often. The 30% extra damage from this perk, from this one, and then this one, is awesome when you tie it together with this class perk tree. This is pretty useless, to be honest. No, doesn't really do much. This is really good, and this again ties into why I enjoy, well I think it's value going down this path, extra ammo, and then getting just that little bit extra of beam damage, because that means that killing three enemies when you're below 30%, which also ties into this as well. So you're getting two bonuses. You're getting that bonus and this bonus. So again, we're looking at how we bring all this together, and this is the way you do it. Now, killing 3 enemies with one more shot, basically I'm going to 5% health until I get back up to 30% health. And if I get just a little bit over that, and then I drop back there again, I'm going to get more ammo. Again, and then there's a cycle that comes back. So, and this is not with that, this is without talking about even the class perks. So there's a lot of benefits when I believe you follow this path that makes it worth it, not having the end here. Charging, it's good over the long term of the whole battle. If you think about the amount of time it takes to get a shot off every single shot over the course of battle, it's pretty significant having the 15%. So I wouldn't say if I didn't have the 15%, it would ruin me. Like maybe you could say, okay, well I'll increase damage against Terminus. Why would you need more damage with the Las Fusil against the Terminus? To me, it just seems rather pointless. I mean, you'd be going after this if anything, but this is honestly big enough for enough. So having the extra 15% is just good to have it there, but I wouldn't say it changes anything. So this is my optimized path, I believe, for the Laz Fusil, and I'd love to hear your thoughts if you think that this could be optimized further, or what your thoughts are on this, and do you run this and has it worked well for you? So definitely love to hear about that. Let's go have a look at my pistol. So I'm running the Ophelian Liberation Alpha version. This is the higher ammo capacity version, so higher magazine and thus a higher ammo reserve. To me, the bolt pistol is there to help you clear hordes and to help charge your camo cloak, which I'll explain in a later stage when we talk about the perk or the class perks. So this is a very, 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 very helpful tool for you to get through your missions. Without the bolt pistol and having a large ammo capacity, I could definitely say that I'd probably struggle a lot more. And this bolt pistol is kick-ass. It is honestly a great, great pistol. And I love the artwork for it too. Obviously, it's a great job to the art team over there at Saber Interactive. So, but this is a great pistol. And if you can master this, you can gain back health, you can gain camo clock. Those are all the very important things for a sniper. I don't think the other two are well worth it, because you've already got a sniper which does this kind of, you got the high accuracy with your sniper. Here you don't actually need extra firepower, because honestly you're basically, this is only for killing all the terminus level enemies, so a headshot does the same thing. Alright guys, let's go have a look at the perk tree. So 10% extra damage on terminus, perfectly timed dodge, yeah, but extra 25% more damage on them. Kind of good if you want to do gun strikes. If you tie that into with the assault marine, if you're playing with an assault marine, if they've got the perk which will allow them to do extra damage with your with a gun strike, your bolt pistol is going to be hitting a lot harder. So this is actually useful in that situation, and there are a lot of people who play assault marine, so I felt that this whole bottom row pretty much, except for the last, is well worth it. Gun strike again, your recoil. Recoil on a bolt pistol, unless you continue just non-stop shooting it, even then it's not that bad. Honestly, it's not that bad. Damage increase again, magazine. This is kind of rare for it to trigger unless you're a really, really good player and are regularly able to do this. But I overall think it's not necessarily that great. It might be more beneficial with the tactical marine, because you have the ability to increase how much you can shoot through another enemy. So I could see that being more useful there, but for a sniper it's not so useful. Magazine capacity increase 15%, absolutely important. That leans into the whole point of this pistol. Definitely worth taking. Headshots deal 10% more damage. We're trying to do headshots for the most part. We want to do headshots, so why not just lean into getting headshot damage? You could make the argument, why don't you roll back one, but you'd have to roll back this and this, so you lose magazine capacity to gain this, and then all you get is the HP, and it just doesn't. You've already got here, you've got 10% against, this is against Tyranids mostly, then here, so you got 20% against a Tyranid, and then you can increase it another 10% for a headshot, and then you are also charging camo cloak, you're leaning into, you're forcing yourself down that path. If you're not so confident in always getting headshots, then go over here and just take the 10%, flat 10%. However, I want to push myself to doing headshots, and I want to be rewarded for that. And headshots obviously do more damage, so you're just going to be doing more damage, and this helps it. So that's my opinion where I would go with this one. Happy to hear your thoughts with the variant you choose, or the perk tree, and how you've done your perk tree and what you found to be successful. I often think that the perk tree should align with a type pistol, and so I hope that eventually we can, in this case bolt pistol is an exceptional example, especially for the sniper class, that sniper can choose a loadout and save the perks and the version of the perks tied to that weapon, if that makes sense. So if I choose sniper and I've got this bolt pistol, I can then have a loadout or a saved perk tree for this gun with my sniper. And this is a prime example, because with a tactical marine there might be a slightly different way you'd want to use it. That's sort of the example there, and there's a few other places where that might be the case. Same with like a melter for a tactical vanguard might be slightly different depending on the purpose. So I hope that adds my customization there, but that's what I've chosen for that. Then we'll go look at the knife. The knife here is a bit of a spicy one. A lot of people love to choose this one. And why do they love to choose that one? Well, my dear friend, it is strength and fencing. Fencing is very, very good to, I think in many ways, to help you survive, because you'll be able to get those perfect parries, help deal with those heavies, take them out. And that's what I run with when I run with my Vanguard, because I'm basically, I'm a you know, an assassin. So I want to go lean into that. I want to get up close and combat with my melter and with my knife to rip apart the heads of those heavies. However, a sniper can do that from distance very well, as opposed to what a Vanguard can do. So what is the main problem that the sniper has? Conversely, it is dealing with hordes when they get surrounded by it. Well, the Blood of Vossas gives you a method or a way to deal with that. And a bolt pistol isn't always the best choice. And you want to recover some armor, because now with the latest patch, we can recover armor from getting some perfect, some parries when the terminus level are attacking you. So that's really handy. It doesn't mean that this isn't a good weapon for taking out heavies. This is by definitely no means a bad weapon for taking out heavies. In fact, because of the speed, and if you know how to do the combinations, you can still do pretty good damage to a heavy, as we'll see very shortly with the perks. But because of the cleaving potential, you're no longer struggling to deal with the large swarms of terminus level enemies that you do if you're a Vanguard with this variant of the knife, which the Vanguard still has its own ways of dealing with the swarms of terminus level, and that's obviously the melter. In this situation, you definitely want the Blood of Vossas. I still don't really understand this really is definitely the, if you're very, very gutsy as a Vanguard and you really want all the damage, you could probably make the argument there, because it does a huge amount of damage, but you're basically losing the ability to perfect parry, and that's not too bad because there are ways to recover Vanguard, but this is not a video for that. Just with sniper, you're not about close combat. If you have to do close combat, it's usually because you've been swarmed by minis or you run out of ammo. And it's not about taking out the big guys, because you've got a rifle to do that. So the Blood of Vossas is where I believe the most value and biggest bang for buck you're going to find. And you'll really love the speed of this knife, and the knife will really be a lot of fun actually to clearing out large groups. Sometimes you'll even be like, let me at them. You just want to fly around, spinning around and ripping them apart with this knife. And I will show some footage of that as well at the end of this video, so you can see how good it is at taking out large swarms of the terminus if you have to. I should stress, you shouldn't be getting into those situations. That is not your role. But if it does happen, you are well armed to deal with it. Alright, so that's all the weapons gone over. Now we're going to go get stuck into the perk tree and find out what I have chosen for my perks. Alright, looking at the perk tree. First one, we'll start off from the left, go to right. Block break. Now, I switched over to this one for quite some time, and I just realized it's not my job. It really isn't my job fighting the Majoras with my knife. Again, I chose the cleaving one, so yeah. I mean, you could make an argument there is some potential here. You could be a close-up, sneaky takedown sniper with close combat, but I don't believe the camo lasts long enough and sufficiently for you to move fast enough to get yourself into that kind of position all the time. Nor is that a good position to always be in when you've got other classes who just do that much better. It's not so bad if you want to run some solo missions, just have some fun doing that, or you got a team, they're going to be tactical and say heavy, and you just want to go and switch that all over. Again, this is where I think that you need to have class loadouts that you can save here, that you could choose. You could save like 3 or 4 here, and you could just press them and you could switch this all around, because I think it isn't sometimes just a matter of switching one, you have to switch a whole bunch to make it all align. So I chose the block break because I'm trying to go from a range last Fusil build, and that means that I'm going to be trying to sit back as much as possible and take the shots. Now, in that, what that means is that when those heavies are in that block stance and they're running at you, those Tyrannid warriors, they're going to just block all your shots. Well, basically the damage is next to nothing. Well, if you've got all the other perks and you got the last Fusil extra damage, it's going to be 25% of all that stack damage that you're going to be doing to them. So it's not nothing, and it's nothing spectacular, but it's not nothing. So you're actually still being useful in those moments. Whilst you could say, oh, well, I'll kill all the small terminus ones around while I wait for it to open up its blocking. Well, I would say that you could probably get 1 or 2 shots in. It moves away from blocking stance, or sometimes you even force it, I think. I'm not sure how the scripting works there for the AI to make a decision, or what's its logic to come out of block sometimes, but I think sometimes it's distance and the threat. If they've been shot at enough times, they need to be moving faster, so they'll open up so they can go faster to get to you quicker. And usually after 1 or 2 shots, they open up. Then the third shot that you do whilst you've been shooting at them is going to hit them and potentially put them into execute stand, depending if you've been stationary and depending all the other perks and stuff and how accurate you've been on them. So I believe that whilst it isn't great, it's still better than the 2 alternatives, which is revive. Don't really need that. Typically, if you need to be reviving members and you need this extra speed, probably the battle is regularly going in a way that it shouldn't. You probably might struggle to finish the mission anyway, and this ain't going to change anything. So I'm again more of the opinion or the mind that you should try and choose perks or choose the weapons and all these things that prevent you from getting into a bad place, not dealing with the bad place after you're in the bad place. So yeah, I don't think, as I said earlier, this is worth it. So I definitely highly recommend going with the block break, and you should be doing enough damage to get through them. Vantage point. Remaining stationary for 2 seconds with your primary damage is increased by 20% effectively. So when you're charging up the Las Fusil and even your bolt sniper rifle, typically you are going to be stationary because you're going to be in cloak and you're going to be focused and you're going to be trying to get that shot off. There's a lot of times now, though, I am moving as I'm taking the shot when they've moved, just to compensate that. But I think that you're a better shot if you know how to place yourself 2 seconds, take that shot whilst you're in stealth, boom, extra 20% extra damage. So that if you do that, plus the 30% extra damage, which we've already talked about with the last few, so you're at plus 50% damage, plus 50% at this moment. We'll expand on this very soon with the perk tree even more. All right, lethal efficiency. Killing more than 1 enemy with 1 shot from a Las Fusil restores its charge by 1. Fantastic. Now you've got a reason to help your buddies in the mission, fellow Space Marines, helping them deal with those huge swarms and not going, well, I'll have no ammo to deal with the big heavies when they come along. Well, you'll get rewarded back for your efforts, and the Las Fusil can punch through a good number of them, so do it. It's easy to kill 2 at a time. Just keep unloading, and that's where that 15% charge that we discussed earlier in the perk tree for the weapon, definitely of high value. Then you want to go in the team perks here. You've got a few different choices here. I don't think this is overall worth it long term at the end game for a lot of classes that you'll be playing with. Most of the time, by the stage of people's place where they're in the game, they are already doing headshots. Yes, I know they'll be doing more damage overall across the whole team, but melters, but heavy bolters, but close combat, all don't really care for a lot of those kind of headshots that they don't need all the time. So what they do want to have is their perks coming back, their perk ability, sorry, their special ability. So like the Iron Halo for the heavy, Tactic Marine, if he's constantly getting out his scan, that's overall doing more damage than 10% can do if you're hitting it on the head. So the more you can get the Tactical Marines scan out, that equals more damage than this will do anyway, and the more efficiently you're going to play as well. Especially the Assault Marine being able to jump down more often, the Bulwark being able to call his banner down. It's just so many more reasons why you'd use this, and it's far better. This one, I just think weapon spread is only going to help you with 2 weapons, maybe the heavy bolter, plasma guns. The others don't really spread that much, so it's fine. This is just awesome, and it again leans into the fact that you want to keep getting into camo, coming out, shooting, coming out of that cloak, then trying to get back into cloak again, taking another shot, coming out, rinse and repeat, getting all that massive damage that we're about to explore very shortly. All right, a headshot restores ammo's cloak by charge by 5%. It doesn't seem like much, but that includes the bolt pistol, which ties into what I said earlier. So if you're leaning in on that and you're making use of that, your camo cloak charge is going to come back very quickly, very quickly, and that's just this and this alone. Not to mention, I believe the Assault Marine has a ability to help increased cooldowns as well. So you're also going to have something there. But there are other ways, even within the sniper class, to do this. But this is by far a really, really good method because you can just kill, what, 5 small terminus, and you probably got back your Chimera Cloak to where you hopped out of it from your last shot. That's typically what I find. It doesn't take me much to get back to full with a couple of headshots. All right, so coming out of the Chimera Cloak, this ties into what I said about going in and out of your Chimera Cloak. You're doing 75% more damage. Why wouldn't you want to keep coming in and out of that Chimera Cloak? You can basically drop Chaos Space Marines and Majora's Terminid Warriors. You can do a lot of damage to the Lictor, the Gravener if you're really good at shooting them while they're on the move. You can do huge amounts of damage with this, huge amounts of damage. And that's also with your pistol too. So if you're under threat and you're just trying to run away and you go to camo and you've got to shoot a big one, do it, because you're going to do 75% more damage with your pistol. It's not nothing, it's still something, but you're doing something and you're moving out of the way, then you get into Chimera Cloak and you're trying to get those headshots, you're charging back up again. Definitely far better than this. Meh. And I mean, I'm not a melee one. Again, you could, I did hint at this, you could build yourself towards this, but I don't think that is necessarily worth it. I mean, you could be this kind of stealth takedown. I think what they need is when you're in Camo Cloak, you move faster. If you had moved faster whilst in Camo Cloak and your knife was basically, you could go to an execute. If you were in stealth and you're next to Majora's level unit, you can go straight to execute. You don't need to hit them. You just go straight to execute. It's a bit like an Assassin's Creed kind of thing. I think that some way like that would make you could go down this kind of path that the scout is more like an assassin, like up close, but then you're kind of blurring into what the Vanguard does. So it's a tough one. I just don't see the value here. I think if you want to get up like close in combat, you want to be playing that kind of thing, then you go with the Vanguard. I think you'd be doing too much of something that other classes can already do. So lean into what you're good. Again, if this is what you like to do, then do that. I'm sure there's a lot of good builds like that can do that. I just don't think it's necessarily the best overall for the majority of players that want to play sniper. This column I think needs a bit of work too. I don't think that it is the... If I didn't have this column, would I be missing out too much? It's kind of nice I get to stay in cloak. I can reposition myself a little longer before I have to worry that I'm going to cause aggro again. Because sniper they like to go after the sniper, I feel. I don't know what it is. I just feel that they get aggro on sniper pretty quick once you get out of cloak. So it's kind of good to have that little bit ability to reposition, like roll away, especially if you've taken a shot in a large group while they've all been around you or running past you. Then you know after you take the shot, okay, I'm going to get myself out of here. I got to leg it because they're all going to start going for me very shortly. In the same vein, you could say, okay, well then I come out of that, I can kind of stun them, then I can move away. It's kind of a muchness. I don't find, I've seen people use it. I don't really think it's great. I mean, you could make the argument for having it. It's, yeah, much of a muchness. These two are kind of very similar. I just think this is better because overall it's not when they're near. This one's limited to when you're near them. This one's from range too, so if you're dealing with the shooting Chaos Space Marines, of course, and with the shooting warriors, you still have a little bit more time to then reposition, say, hide behind a wall or something. I find that quite useful. So that's what won it over for me. It's more practically useful as opposed to this one. Now let's look at the one that brings it all together. This one leans into everything of what the sniper's about. We're starting to wrap it all up. We're bringing it all together now, bringing it home, and that's perform 4 consecutive headshots. Restores equipment charge by 1. That means you're going to go back into stealth once every 3 minutes if you perform 4 consecutive headshots. Now you want to be performing consecutive headshots or lots of headshots because you want to be getting your camo charge anyway, and you want to be doing all this extra damage, and you want to be helping your whole team get their ability charge up there. So, you know, every 3 minutes you should be at the very least having your camo cloak back. If it's not already naturally recharged, I mean, sometimes you probably would just get a completely free camo cloak charge. There's just so many ways to get your camo cloak charge back on the regular, and this one ties it in massively. You could even make the argument that this is just overkill when you add in all those other ways there, and I think it kind of is. I think that they should have said when you go to this, it increases when you do 4 headshots in a row. Your 5th headshot is actually 100% extra damage, I think would be even more beneficial. I don't think you need to get the equipment recharge here, but you keep going in and out of camo cloak, it's still effectively very good. I just think that this could be tweaked a bit. I don't think it's as useful as they think it's going to be when you add in all the other stuff, and you don't really need any other things. So, but I definitely would say it's better than this, going back into camo cloak when you're lethal. Again, I want to prevent the problem happening as opposed to dealing with it after it's happened, which is, this is what this can do though as well. Like this is prevent dealing with when the problem happens. If you know that you're dealing with a large group and you've got to like try and move through an area and so you can bring back both your teammates, well, you know what you can do in this situation is you can use your camo cloak, run right ahead, get yourself in a good position, then line up a last Fusil shot on some whole bunch of horde of them that are running at you still, now that they're seeing you come out. Get that headshot, charge yourself back up, camo cloak again, keep charging on. And by the time you've use that other one, you could probably be in the next area where you need to be to bring back your teammates, or you've just stayed alive long enough for them to respawn. So there is benefits there. That's kind of dealing with the problem afterwards as well. But this is more useful than this because you just become invulnerable for 5 seconds, whereas camo cloak lasts a lot longer than that. I'll go back to this. This could actually be the only place I find this useful and has saved me before when I was testing it out is when the spores all hit you. They are a real pain in the ass. Perfect time dodge, automatic activates without spinning charge. I mean, whatever. It's an early one that you get, whatever. This is still the best one overall, and that's why it was the last one. I just still think that they could have put something better here. Maybe a full reload of your gun, or I think a full reload is not a nerf by the way on this. I think a full reload would be actually very useful, and I also don't mind that you get increased damage as well. And you said like maybe if it was 4 consecutive headshots on Majoris level enemies, the next shot is 100% extra damage. So it's a really caveated one, but allows you to lean into killing multiple enemies because obviously that next shot will go through multiple, and so you might be able to finish off 3 or 4 heavies in one go, and it kind of really ties it all in. That's my thoughts or opinions on that. I would love to hear what you guys have to think about that whole perk tree and classes, what I've gone over. The sniper is a very, very fun class to me with the last Fusil. I'm looking forward to exploring the bolt rifle very soon and doing a bit of a deep dive in my experience and journey with the bolter sniper rifle. Very good gun as well from what I've seen other people do. Alright guys, so that wraps this one up. Thank you so much for coming to watch this, and I hope you learned a lot. It was a lot of fun to make this, and it was also really helpful to me going over and solidifying what I found really useful as a sniper. But I'd love to come talk to you more, love to hear your comments. As I've said, just feel free to let me know what you're doing with sniper, how you're enjoying with it, are you struggling with it? And if you are and you want some help, come hang out on my Discord. Come and hang out when I'm doing streaming as well over there on Twitch. Links are all down below, and I've also got some infographics that I am working on to put out there. But thank you all for watching. Remember, brothers, courage and honor.